Hello everybody and welcome back. So for today I would like to do a tiny demo review about a very important piece of gear which I always use and I never talk about it, and that's my AMT SS20 valve preamp. I always like it to use this kind of pedal preamps for many reasons, also because most of my setups go straight in line. So with this I kind of like have it's like having an amplifier in a pedal format. I used this kind of preamps already since ages. I mean, back then I had these real amplifiers by this Italian brand Brunetti, and Brunetti had this Overtone 2 preamp that was one of my very first preamp I used. And that period also I had a Mesa Boogie between, but these were all also very big pedals. And then after the Mesa Boogie and the Brunetti, I find that this other preamp, which is the Yerasov PD5 Ptero driver, which is also super cool. It's kind of like a 2+2 channels preamp with two 12AX7 tubes, Russian made, looks like a landmine. That was also a very cool pedal. And then of course the AMT SS20. And actually this became my one and only main guitar pedal preamp that I use. And I like it for many reasons. First of all, it's super compact. If you see, to compare the size, this is a Zoom multi-stop. It's more or less the size of a Boss pedal, and as you see, more or less that's the size is more it's a bit bigger than this one, but it's so super compact. On the feature set, you have an input, of course, then you have its power supply. It's a 12 volt power supply. Here on the back, then you have a mono send return, which is placed after the preamp section and before the outputs. The outputs, you have two. One without cabinet emulation, which normally is thought to be used to go in, for example, into the amplifier stage of a guitar amplifier, and the second output with the cabinet emulation, the one which you would like to use then, kind of like I do in such a situation where you go straight to the PA, or for example, me at home, I go with everything into this mixer, and then from there with the headphones I monitor the stuff I'm playing. Here on the side there is another tiny input jack, which, if I get it right, it's kind of like you can connect a controller to that input, and so you can, by remote, you can foot switch the channel. Then the channel. First you have a clean channel with its own separated volume, free band EQ, and the gain. It's Fenderish style, super cool. You can go super clean. Or also you can have, also if you max out the gain, you can have also a nice light crunch. I mostly use it kind of like a bit more than half. EQ super powerful. Let's do like this. And this is the clean. Super cool about the clean also, it takes very well pedals. For example, now here I have a fuzz pedal in front of everything. The pedal was a Spiral Electric Effects Black Fuzz. Okay, clean channel, super cool, takes very well effects as we said. And then we go to the drive section. Drive section, here we have, it's a 1+1 because you have a crunch and lead. Separate gain for each channel, but in common you have the volume and the EQ section. What I love a lot about the crunch channel, I use that normally as my main heavy gain distortion. Cool thing about the crunch channel is that you have just here behind the gain pot, you have this three-way switch, which influences the gain available, the max gain available on the crunch channel, and also the voicing of the channel. So now I set everything at noon. Now here I have the switch on position 1, which is the one with less gain, and it has a more open MIDI sound. Then position 2. We have an increase in bass as well, and position 3, which is the one I mostly use. It's the one with more gain, and it has also more bass, and it's more heavy. So. And then we have the lead channel. I use that mostly for low gain sound. But also you can go also berserk. It's cool because both channels have different voicing. To me, the lead channel it's a bit more sharp and edgy, instead of the crunch, which is it's more MIDI and more. Echo here is also super powerful. Let's do some examples. Of course, you can also go low gain with the crunch, and it's also super cool, especially if you push a bit the mid. So super cool preamp, super compact. I like it a lot. Inside you have a 12AX7 valve. I installed it myself. I installed a Mullard, which is a long plate valve. I love this style of long plate valves, like also for example the Softec 12AX7 LP. I feel the long plates give you a warmer bass heavy sound and not so sharp and shrill like most common tubes this type. Also super cool, which I like a lot, are the two outputs. That's why after the outputs I have this tiny DIY AB box, which I built myself, and I use this one to actually rewire my pedal board, so that only with one switch I can select. You can listen to that, for example, on the crunch channel. This is with the output. Now this is the output with cabinet emulation, and this is the output without the cabinet emulation. So you have actually full frequency coming out without the cabinet emulation. It's super cool for me to be able to access both outputs in case I need something different. For example, this is super cool because so I don't have to rewire my pedal board when, for example, I use it into a normal guitar amplifier, or for example when I do my noise stuff, etc. Very often I go inside the pedal board with synthesizers and electronics, so it's super handy to be able to switch to the output without a cabinet, so that I have full frequency response coming out, which is super handy and cool. And not many, for me it's super important to have this feature, and I don't see so many preamps that gives you the possibility to have two outputs like this, so with or without a cabinet emulation. Okay, so once again, thank you again for tuning in, and I hope you got some cool and interesting information for you, and see you soon.